Hi, welcome to my channel, and yes, you did read the title correctly. This is going to be a 3-part series because this was one of the most challenging builds I have ever done. Mostly because it was just so large. I had such a hard time figuring out what I was going to put in it and stuff, and like what area would be what and stuff, and so I just didn't end up with 800,000 bedrooms. So the first part is going to be all of the outside, like all the building, landscaping, all of that kind of stuff. Then the next video will be the first floor, and then the second video will be the top floor. So look forward to that. Those will be out in the next couple of weeks. They're all filmed and all recorded and all that. I had to break up these videos because otherwise it was going to be like a 40-minute video, because this build took me forever. I think it took me 7 to 8 hours over a couple of days to do it. And most of that is just staring at the build and just being like, oh, what should I put, and just agonizing over the decisions I had to make and stuff. And that took me a while, and I had to cut out quite a lot of just staring at the screen and things like that. So I thought it would be better if I just broke it down into 3 separate videos, especially because it's difficult for me to talk for that long, like at least in an entertaining way, because I could ramble for England. I could go on about nothing, but I don't know, I don't think it's that entertaining if I just ramble about nothing. So yeah, it's easier if I can break it down into smaller chunks. Let me know what you think about me splitting it up this way. Is it a good way of doing it? Would you prefer a half-an-hour video? Is it fine for me to do this? Let me know in the comments down below, and it'll change whether I do it in the future or not. Without any further ado, I'm just gonna get into actually talking about the build. Shocking, I know. So this build was based on a floor plan that I found online. It's a little bit different, like it's only inspired by it, I guess, because that particular build had like a garage and like a driveway and stuff, and I was just like, oh, there's no real point in having like a garage and a driveway because we don't have cars, so it would just be more wasted space. So I ended up cutting that out and sort of changing the layout a little bit. The main difference is that where it goes on the left hand side, there should be another bit that brings it out even further, like so it would be in the street basically, but obviously yeah, I didn't include any of that, so it got cut out. Also, the rooms on the floor plan don't really make sense in The Sims. It's not that they don't make sense, but it's kind of like it would just be a lot of wasted space, because it was things like having a games room, which I did end up putting in, but the objects that we have are just, it's not that great of a games room, if that makes sense. Like I mentioned in the last build that we did, we don't have things like, you know, pool tables or stuff like that, and just extra things, or even just a small, like a pinball table or just a small arcade cabinet, because we have the big one from, I think it's Get Together, but I just hate how unrealistically large it is. Like it's so big, because The Sims just don't like doing small size things, especially in the early packs like Get Together. So yeah, it's just a little bit too large in my opinion, and I really wish we had like individual sized ones, There is a really cool mod pack, if you're open to using mods and things, that has like arcade things, and it has really cool arcade stuff. Like it has a individual arcade cabinet, it has like whack-a-mole kind of things, it has a skee ball table, it has so much. I'll link that down below for you if you want to check it out. This house is actually a house that I am playing in game. It's the same family for the house I built last time. You can see them standing outside at the moment. When I'm actually playing with them, I replaced the games room with that CC pack. I didn't include it in the actual build because I thought that because it's CC, not everyone can have it. You know, if you're on console, then you can't have it. If you're just don't really like having custom content or mods in your game, then you can't have it. So yeah, I just thought it would be better to use in-game objects, but there is a mod pack if you want to replace the items, which I did, so I would suggest you do the same. It really does suck that console can't have mods though. Like I know why in theory, I guess, but I just feel like there should be a way, because I know there's certain games on the Xbox, because my boyfriend plays Xbox, and some of the games he plays do allow mods, and I don't understand and I don't know how, but he showed me what it is and things. I think it might have been Minecraft, but honestly I don't remember. It was such a long time ago, but I remember being like, what, how come you get these and I can't do it? Like how come I can't mod my games and stuff? But knowing how Sony is and what Sony's like, I can see them being like, no, we don't want random stuff. Sony reminds me a lot of Apple. Xbox reminds me of Samsung, where it's like if you have a Samsung device, you can put third-party apps on it and stuff. It lets you do that, but if you have it on Apple, then you're not allowed to do that, though that is supposed to be changing with the recent European ruling. Not that I'm going to talk about that, because I am not a tech person and I don't want to spread misinformation because I don't know anything about it, but it is supposed to be able to change and you can have third-party apps on an Apple device, but I don't see Sony doing something like that. I just don't see them allowing third-party apps and things that they don't have a say in or don't have control over. Yeah, I just don't see it happening, but maybe in the future one day we'll see mods. Maybe in like The Sims 5 or something they'll have some kind of way to add mods in, because I know the gallery didn't work to begin with on console and they had to change that, so you know, maybe in the future that's what it will be like, but who knows honestly. Speaking a bit about The Sims 5, I kind of wonder when we're next going to hear anything about it, because it's been a little while since we last heard anything, and they said that they were going to show us some more things soon and we haven't really heard anything. And I know The Sims 5 is still years and years away. Like honestly, I don't think we're gonna get The Sims 5 until maybe 2025, and I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't called The Sims 5. Like they might end up calling it something different, not because they want to break away from The Sims 5, but because it would be in 2025, it would be their 25-year anniversary, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was called like Sims 25 or something like that, just because it's like the 25 years or something. Because I know some people were saying that like when they announced it as like Project Renesmee, they were like, oh, they would call it The Sims 5 if it was actually The Sims 5, but that's just not the case. Games always have internal names for it and stuff, but I wonder if they didn't say The Sims 5 because it might have a different name. It will still functionally be, you know, the next mainline installment, because that's what they said. They said this is the future of the mainline Sims. That's what they said, so it's definitely going to be The Sims 5. I just don't think it's going to end up being called that. So, but I don't know. I'm not sure. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that you're gonna play it? Are you gonna check it out? Because I've seen a lot of people say that they've spent so much money on The Sims 4, which is not an unreasonable thing, that people have spent so much money on this game that they don't want to start all over again, and I can understand that, but I feel like I am gonna end up playing it because I've played all of the Sims games and I'm not gonna stop now. So let me know what you think, and yeah, if you're gonna play or not. I am really concerned about the fact that it might be a subscription model going forward, and that really makes me nervous, because the idea that I'm paying money for a game that I don't technically own is just, I don't like it, particularly because it means that you end up with things like when a game gets old and can't be played anymore, then what do I do now? Like the servers have gone dead, I can't access my game that I've paid, you know, over the years, probably a really high amount, even if it's like £15 a month for the whole thing. If I was playing that for like 10 years, you know, that adds up really quick. So I am very concerned about them implementing a subscription service, because if you compare it to something like The Sims 2, The Sims 2 can no longer legally be played, and that means that there's no way anyone now can get a hold of that legally in a way that's not just with a disc drive that you have to hopefully find in a charity shop. Maybe it has to be either pirated or through some other illegal method and stuff, and it's like, I'm not encouraging piracy or anything, but when that's literally the only way to get a hold of a game, it makes sense that that's what people are going to end up doing, right? And I feel like if The Sims 5 is a subscription service, then you're just going to end up with eventually being unable to play the game because it's been however long and they're not servicing it anymore. And obviously that's a problem for like the future and really far into the future at that, but it's something that concerns me. I think especially as someone who grew up playing The Sims 2 but can't play it now because of like shenanigans like this, it makes me a bit more hyper vigilant to it, I guess. Also, I don't trust any company, not just EA, I don't trust any big gaming company to do a good job and to actually care about game preservation, because I don't think any company really cares about game preservation. They just want to make money off of it, and if they can't make money off of it, no one can, and they're not interested in letting people play their game for free, even if it's been years and yeah, there's no other way of getting a hold of it. So yeah, it makes me a bit nervous. But then, on the other hand, I can also understand why a subscription service would be so appealing to so many people, because it's expensive to buy a full expansion pack. Like, those things can be 50-60 quid. Like, that's a lot of money to drop on a game. So I can totally see the appeal of having a subscription service. I just worry about it being taken advantage of, I guess. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and whether you would prefer a subscription service or prefer, you know, to be able to outright buy it, or maybe a combination of the two, because if there's an option to buy as well as have a subscription service, then I think that would be pretty useful. I think that would be a pretty good middle ground just so that I can buy it and own it forever. Or I can use a subscription service if I don't have, you know, the money, which is a very reasonable concern. I'm also really interested in knowing what's going to come with the base game and what will be in packs, because I think that would sway my opinion on whether I think it's worth buying or not, because I feel like things like the weather, you know, and stuff like that should be base game and not a pack and things. I know that other games like Paralives and I think That Life by You is going to have weather as a base game thing, and I think it should be because it's meant to be a life simulator, right? So it should have the weather is part of life. I also would like to see apartments be part of base game, because again, apartments are part of life, though I don't see something like that happening, because in pretty much every game, every Sims game, they've been an expansion of some kind, so I don't see them changing that. I would also like to see pets in the base game, but I definitely, considering it in the last one, they tried to split up pets into 2 DLCs, needing bloody DLC for DLC. I definitely don't see something like that happening. Anyway, with my super long rant about The Sims 5 and The Sims 2 over, we're coming towards the end of the build now. I'm not going to give you a tour this time. The tour will be in the final video where you'll get to see all of it all together and stuff. I think you will get to see a brief moment of what the shell looks like towards the end, so I'll let you see that, obviously, like what the shell looks like, but the inside and like the full tour will be in the last video. So with that being said, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!